Hello, my 7th grade friends. I hope you all had wonderful weekends. Today in ELT, you're starting with a review of solving proportions. So to solve proportions, the steps are already written. Step 1, we cross multiply. Step 2, we set those cross products equal. Step 3, we divide. So when I look at number 1, I'm going to do 3 times 6 and 4 times x. 3 times 6 is 18. 4 times x is 4x. Oh, so a proportion is two equivalent fractions. So I know if these two fractions are equivalent, these two cross products also have to be equivalent or equal to each other. So that's what I write next. I show that. And then to figure out what number I need to multiply that 4 by to get that 18, I'm just going to use my algebraic steps and divide. Now 18 divided by 4. 4 goes into 18 4 times. 16, I get 2. Going to add a decimal and a 0. Bring down the 0. And bring up that decimal. 4 goes into 20 5 times. 4 times 5 is 20. So x equals, and I'm going to just write it over here, x equals 4.5. 4 and 5/10. Oh my gosh, so sorry. So that's how you solve problems 1 through 10. When you get to problems 11 through 14, you have to simplify. Something interesting, it says write your answer as a mixed number when possible. So if I look at the fraction 4 over 8, or 4/8, this is a proper fraction. So I'm going to simplify all proper fractions like this. I'm going to divide by a common factor in my numerator and denominator. I chose 4 because I know I can multiply 4 times 2 and get 8. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 1/2. Now when I look at the next one, 54 over 48, this is an improper fraction. If it's an improper fraction, the numerator is larger or has more parts than the denominator. So that's when we divide like this, and this is when we're going to get a mixed number. 48 goes into 54 one time. 54 minus 48 is 6. I get 1 and 6 over 48. Backwards C. 1 and 6 over 48. Now, some of you might know we're not quite done. Now I look at this proper fraction and I see that I can divide by 6. Numerator and denominator. So my final answer would be 1, I keep the whole number the same, and 1 over 8. So that's some examples when you simplify fractions. After you simplify fractions, you're going to get some practice multiplying and dividing with decimals. So when I multiply with decimals, I would just write it vertically, and I would write the number with more place values on top. So I set it up like this. Now I notice that there's 1, 2, 3 numbers behind the decimal. We call those decimal digits, DD. That's going to be important when I actually get my answer. After I count how many decimal digits I have, I just multiply like normal. So y'all, Miss Peachaboni's been teaching 8th grade math and using a calculator, so let me know if I make a mistake. It might happen. 7 times 8 is 56. Carry the 5. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 5 is 40. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 4 is 39. Okay, so far so good, I think. I'm going to add a 0, then I'm going to multiply by the 3. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 5 is 15. Plus 2 is 17. Carry that 1. 3 times 5 is 15. Plus 1 is 16. Whew! Okay. Now I'm going to add 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this is what I got, but then I go back and I add in my decimal. Since I had 3 decimal digits, I'm going to start at the end of the number, and I'm going to move in 1, 2, 3, and put my decimal there. So the answer, or the product of 3 and 7/10 times 5 and 58 hundredths is 20 and 646 thousandths. Okay, and then when you divide with decimals, guys, this first number, our first number, is what goes inside our division house. I cannot divide if there is a decimal in the divisor. So I'm going to move it over 1 place value so it goes behind the 5. I am allowed to do that only if I also then move this 1 time. And then I rewrite it. So I do that and then I divide like normal. 5 goes into 21 4 times. I get 20, subtracting get 1. I get 4 and 1/5. When I got to this point, guys, I could have also, another option would have been to add a decimal or a 0, and a 0, not or. And then 5 goes into 10 2 times. Another answer, an equivalent answer, would be 4 and 2/10. So it's up to you what you want to do, because it doesn't tell you if they want you to use fractions or decimals. Okay, after you get some practice with that, the next component of your ELT is just more practice solving proportion problems. So just one example for how you should be setting this up. I'll do number 33. So remember, with a proportion, we are comparing 2 quantities. So for this one, Daniel bought 1 bulb of elephant garlic for $2. So I already know that these are probably the 2 things I'm comparing. Just to be sure, I go ahead and read the rest. How many bulbs of elephant garlic can Matt buy if he has $18? Yep, I'm comparing elephant garlic to money or dollars. So I know I can get 1 bulb of garlic for $2. I want to know how many bulbs of garlic he can buy. So I don't know how many bulbs yet, so I'm just going to put a G here, a variable, if he has 18 bulbs. And then you just solve it the way you would normally solve a proportion. So guys, for this portion, you only get credit, and it's only correct if you set up your proportions like this. Please let your teacher know if you have any questions. Thank you for doing a good job today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.